Hey everybody, Mike here. So TowerTop sent out this little portable air compressor to me so that I could try it out and test it for review. So I want to thank them for sending this out. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this thing. I'll tell you what I like and don't like about it so far. So the first thing right off the bat when I took this out of the box is the fact that it comes in this nice little carrying case right here. Some of the other brands that are out there on the market that are offering something similar to this don't come with the case that I've noticed. So that right off the bat kind of sold me. It just kind of showed me that they wanted to go a notch above their competition. So once you get that out, you've got your unit here, and then on this little slide pocket here, you've got a zipper, and that's going to house the charge cable. It's going to have your line you hook up to your unit, and then you can in turn hook it to your tire or one of your little accessories here. And then with that being said, you've also got these accessories in this little baggie. And in this baggie, you've got a needle so that you can air up like basketballs, footballs, volleyballs, things of that nature. You've got the little Presto valve for your like road bikes that have the skinny tires on them, so you can adapt the valve stem on that to your standard Schrader style valve stem. And then you got a couple tips here that you can screw in. And these are for like airing up air mattresses, beach balls, your little tubes for like floating on the river in the pool, just things of that nature. This should pretty much cover all your bases in terms of anything that might actually need air over time. Now let's go over this little unit here real fast. And then what I want to do is I want to take you out. I'll show you what this looks like putting air in a tire. And then I've got some footage that I'll throw on top of this as well. That's going to show you, I took a tire flat and I tried to take it all the way back up to fully inflated. So I'll throw a time lapse of what that looked like as well. Now the unit itself is pretty simple. It's got this big large screen here. You got 4 buttons around here and one in the center. When you push the one in the center, that's going to turn your display on. If you notice on the screen right now that this looks like it's flickering, it's not. It's just the way the camera perceives the screen itself. The screen's not flickering for me. Pretty simple deal here. You got your battery level here at the top. It's going to show you what PSI you're currently sitting at if you've got this hooked up to a ball or tire. And then down here is going to show you what the desired pressure is. And then if you hit this button right here at the side on the left, it's going to have a couple of different presets. So you can go from car to bicycle, balls, or even a motorcycle. And then you can actually change when you get that set where you want it. You could change that pressure to whatever it is you want it to be at. So if you got a tire that you want to set at 36, or if you got a bigger truck and you want to set that tire to 80, you can do either one. And in fact, this compressor is capable of going up to 150 PSI. And then the other button you got right here on the side is the one we haven't talked about, and that's your flashlight. So if you push that button down, you've got a nice little ring light here on the front. If you push it again, it's going to go to a flash. And if you go one more time, it's an SOS pattern. One more time, you turn that off. That's a pretty handy thing. So if you're out in the middle of the night, or if it's just dark outside and you can't really see much, being able to push that light on and see your valve stand hook up to your tire so that you can get air in the tire and get back on the road, that might make all the difference, especially if you don't have a flashlight on you. Now, a few other specs I'm going to go over here real quick, and then we'll take you out to the truck and I'll show you that real fast. On the side here, I've already mentioned it's 150 PSI max. That's what it's capable of outputting. You're going to have 3 2600 milliamp batteries. So that's a total of 7800 milliamp that this thing's able to produce on a charge. And then it's also capable of being a power bank. So when I say power bank here, what I mean is on the bottom end, you've got a USB-C. That's how you're going to charge the unit. That is for charging only. Then you've got a USB-A here, and you can hook up to that, and you can actually charge your devices from this. So if you hook this cable up like you see here, if I just push that in the USB, and I've got my iPad here handy. If I throw my iPad on the charger, you will see that it's just started charging here on the screen. And with 7,800 milliamp hours, you could charge a couple devices off that battery before it would be depleted, if not more than that, just depending on the size of the battery of the device you're trying to charge. So pretty handy. If you made it this far in the video and you're still kind of wondering, well, I don't really see what this was before, let me throw a couple scenarios at you. This would be great to keep not only in your garage or shop like I've got right here, but you could put this in the trunk of your car, you could put this in the toolbox of your pickup, and it's just one of those things that would be extremely handy to have in the case of an emergency. This thing's capable of holding a charge without the battery draining on its own for over a year. So as long as it's got a full charge on it, and you remember every year or so to check and make sure the battery is still topped off. Let's just say you did get a screw in your tire, or you've got a tire extremely low. You just need to get that tire up high enough to where you can get off the road and get to safety. You can at least throw this on your tire, get that thing aired out to a safe level, even if it's not fully inflated, to where you can at least get off the road and maybe get yourself to a tire repair shop or something of that nature. Another thing that we found handy with these as well is when we take our kids to different practices. Our kid in this case plays soccer and occasionally basketball, and you get to the field and you realize your kid's ball's flat. They didn't tell you before you left the house. You could easily grab this out and reinflate the ball or put it up to the desired pressure so they could get back to practice, and you've saved the day. Now that being said, let's get out to the truck real quick. I'll show you what this thing looks like when you're just topping off a tire, and then we'll finish the video out. So out here at my wife's Tahoe real quick. As you can see, this is a low profile tire on a 22-inch wheel, so it doesn't take as much air as like something like my truck tire would that's on a big beefy mud terrain tire. So what you see here is I've got 31.5 PSI on this tire right now. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 36 real quick. That's my desired pressure that I want for this tire. I'll hit the center button here, get this thing turned on. And you'll see how quickly this thing pops up here real fast. And it shouldn't take much more than a minute or so. You see right there when it hit 36, it shuts itself off. You don't have to worry about anything else. So that's the nice thing about that, having that desired tire pressure, is you kind of set it, you can walk away from it for a second, and you'll know it shut itself off when it gets to that pressure. And that took less than a minute to do. Let's get back in the shop and I'll give you some final thoughts. So as you can see from the video where we just aired up the tire, it only took a couple minutes to air the tire up. If you're less than 7 PSI low, generally this thing will air the tire back up to the desired pressure in about a minute or so. If you're airing a tire up from fully flat, like I showed you on the other vehicle I had earlier, it's gonna take around 15 to 20 minutes, and that depends on the size of the tire as well. If you're trying to air a tire up that's on like a 15-inch wheel, maybe like a Honda Civic, you're gonna have a pretty easy time getting that thing aired up. But if you're trying to do something like on my truck where it's a 35-inch tire on a 20-inch wheel, you're actually probably gonna take 2, if not 3 charges and a few breaks with this unit to be able to get that thing fully aired up to the desired pressure. So kind of keep that in mind if you're running a big mud tire versus something that's low profile, like my wife's Tahoe where it's got the 22-inch wheels on it. It's gonna make a big difference in how long that tire takes to air up and whether you can even get it accomplished in a full charge or not. And then when it comes to your basketballs and things of that nature, it just makes quick work of all that stuff. Usually within a minute or two, depending on how flat the ball is, you can have that thing topped off, back ready to go. The nicest thing about that is you're not guessing on the pressure. You can literally set the desired pressure. A lot of your balls are going to have somewhere written on the ball what the desired pressure is. So just match what the writing shows on the ball if it's legible and you can still see it, and you really can't go wrong. I've been extremely impressed with this little thing after the last couple days of playing with it. The only downfall I had on it was if you're running this thing for a long period of time, like airing a tire up from completely flat, it does get a little bit warm to the touch up here at the top if you run this thing for about 15 minutes straight. But other than that, it handled everything great. Just keep that in mind. Just watch your hands when you get this thing done. It might be a little hot until it cools back off once you get done with it. Other than that, it's an extremely awesome unit. I'm glad to have it. I want to thank Tower Top for sending this out to me again, and I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.